She stepped into the courtroom, smiling, confident, cool, composed, ready to walk out as if nothing could touch her. But everything changed the moment her aunt took the stand. The room went silent. Her parents were gone, their lives ended while they slept, and there she was, posting on TikTok, putting on a performance of grief. She tried to flip the narrative, to cast herself as the victim, to make it seem like she had no part in the tragedy, but nobody was buying it. Her aunt's testimony, combined with TikTok videos pleading for coverage of the case, exposed the truth. No lies, no spin, just the cold, undeniable facts. In that moment, she realized she wasn't walking out of that courtroom. Not after everything that had come to light, not after what everyone had seen. This is the dark, twisted story of Sarah Grace Patrick. She looked like any other teenager. TikToks, selfies, late night crying videos, begging strangers online for prayers. A daughter living an ordinary life in Carrollton, Georgia. One of two sisters. The youngest, barely 5 or 6 years old, would soon witness something no child should ever see. But in the months that followed the tragedy, Sarah turned grief into a spotlight, stepping into the role of the devastated daughter as millions watched. On February 20th, 2025, everything changed. In their home on Tyus Road, something horrific unfolded. Her mother, Kristen Brock, and her stepfather, James Brock, were found in their bedroom shot while they slept. No forced entry, no sign of a break-in. Inside the house that night were only two people, Sarah and her little sister. It was the younger child who found their parents first, and it was Sarah who made the frantic 911 call. When investigators arrived, they confirmed what was already obvious. This wasn't an accident. It was a homicide. Then the social media storm erupted. Sarah posted tearful videos, pleading, mourning, begging for comfort. Just weeks later, she uploaded a montage of photos of her mother and stepfather, captioned with a disturbing, oddly prophetic line. "They don't know it, but a year from now, me and my 5-year-old sister would find them wrongfully shot dead in our home." Behind the scenes, she reached out to a true crime creator named Janice, who runs the TikTok blog Allegedly Reportedly. Sarah pushed her to cover the case, promising inside intel and suggesting the story would be a really big hit. Once the video went live, Sarah appeared in the comments, saying things that raised more questions than answers. When someone speculated the Brocks must have known their killer, Sarah immediately replied, "Most definitely was, since they knew the house." In another comment, she casually mentioned that the couple had been shot, details investigators hadn't publicly released at the time. Janice later shared that the teen even emailed her, describing elements of the crime scene she claimed she witnessed firsthand. Think about that. Before there was a suspect, before any charges, Sarah was already shaping the narrative, promoting the story, inviting the attention of millions. There's grieving publicly, and then there's marketing grief, like content while being part of the case yourself. Then came the funeral. The moment that shifted everything. The moment that made investigators look again harder. Standing before the mourners, Sarah said softly, "I just wanted to say goodbye to my mom and James, since we never got the chance to."
I just wanted to say goodbye to my mom and Jamie since we never got the chance to. I was so used to you guys always being here to the point that I never once thought to imagine y'all not being here. I didn't have a single clue how much I needed y'all until now. For James, thank you for all the life lessons you taught me and for being the best, honest dad ever. Your heart will finally be healed in heaven and neither of y'all will be in any pain anymore. Although that gives me so much comfort, your fight was not supposed to end there. And for my mother, everything we went through does not define what kind of person or what kind of mother you were. You were a beautiful, kind soul with so much gratitude and so gosh dang strong.
She called her mother a beautiful, gentle soul and told mourners she would always be her sunshine. But what haunted people later wasn't the words, it was the way she delivered them. Some said it felt scripted, more like a prepared monologue than a daughter breaking under grief. Relatives whispered afterward that something felt off. There were tears, yes, but the tone was too steady, too practiced, almost as if she were performing. But suspicion alone isn't enough to arrest someone for the murder of their parents. Investigators investigators needed more, much more, so they began collecting everything: digital footprints, social media posts, private messages, her outreach to influencers. They interviewed relatives, neighbors, friends. They secured the home on Tyus Road and combed through it for physical evidence. What they found was a mountain of data, nearly all tied to Sarah's online behavior. Every video, every comment, every message added another crack to the story she'd been selling the world. Investigators took their time, building a case piece by piece until the pattern became impossible to ignore. And then, on July 8th, 2025, Sarah turned herself in, her father by her side. By then, the warrant had already been issued. The performance was over. The investigation had caught up.
She turned herself in because we notified her she had warrants for her arrest. Don't you want the right person arrested? So that's why it takes so long. These diligent investigators took their time. We've got the person that we believe orchestrated this and committed this horrific crime.
She was charged as an adult with 2 counts of intentional harm resulting in loss of life, along with 2 counts of aggravated assault connected to the deaths. In an instant, she was no longer the grieving daughter the public had seen online. She was now the accused. When she entered the courtroom for her bond hearing, cameras captured her smiling more than once. She appeared calm, almost assured, as if she truly believed she would walk out of the courtroom the same day. That confidence, maybe even belief in her own version of events, was about to face its greatest test. One of the most damaging moments came when her own relative took the stand. She recounted personal experiences, troubling comments, and unsettling behavior she had witnessed behind closed doors. She described Sarah as manipulative, inconsistent, and at times emotionally cold, painting a very different picture from the one Sarah had crafted online.
The defendant is charged with the brutal murders of my brother, Jamie, and my sister-in-law while they were lying in their bed. My 5-year-old niece was then woke up to find their parents lifeless. The trauma this innocent child will carry for the rest of her life is unfathomable. I am deeply concerned about Jaylee's safety should the defendant be released on bond. I ask you, please consider the following factors when deciding whether to grant a bond. My first concern is flight risk. The defendant has financial resources provided by the immediate family, which would enable her to flee. Her family maintains that she is innocent, and given her manipulative behavior, I believe she may attempt to flee. Second concern is witness intimidation. The defendant has shown a pattern of intimidation towards family members and others with knowledge of the crime. I fear that if she's released, she will continue this behavior to silence anyone who could testify against her. My third concern is evidence. The brutality of these murders is not in dispute. My family and I have seen the death certificates, and although we are not aware of exactly how many shots were fired, we do know that there were multiple gunshots to both Jamie and Kristen. Personal safety. If the defendant can kill her own parents in such a violent manner, I fear for my own safety and the safety of my family and friends. The possibility that she could harm us is terrifying, and I urge you to consider this in your decision. I'm a Christian who believes in Jesus Christ. My prayer is that justice will be served for Jamie and Kristen, and their bond will be denied for the defendant, as she has shown that she is capable of extreme violence and manipulation. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to speak and share my concern.
The confident face she wore in the courtroom could no longer protect her. Her aunt took the stand and told the court that Sarah was a risk, someone who could flee, manipulate witnesses, and twist the narrative to her advantage. She warned that Sarah had both the motive and the ability to influence her little sister, the most critical witness in the entire case. The defense pushed back, arguing she had no criminal record, that she was young, and that supporters testified testified to her church involvement and her supposedly good character. But the room felt heavy with everything stacked against her: the TikToks, the rehearsed funeral speech, the troubling messages, and the aunt's unsettling testimony. When the judge returned with a decision, the answer was final. Bond was denied. And for the first time, Sarah Grace Patrick broke down, sobbing uncontrollably.
Family relationship expressed that they had vast concerns that she would have the ability to flee, that she would be a danger to the community, that she would be a danger to them, and that she would pose a significant risk of intimidating, or actually I think the state steered away from intimidating, or influencing or manipulating witnesses. Ms. Patrick, because of that, I'm bound by the law, and I do not believe that you would be a proper candidate for bond at this time.
She entered the courtroom smiling. She left it in tears. The composure she'd worked so hard to maintain finally cracked. A girl who once tried to control every narrative was now unraveling under the weight of her own story. And this case is far from over. Legal teams will collide in the months ahead. Grand jury proceedings, motions, evidence battles. Public opinion is already split. Some view her as a troubled, impressionable child caught in something bigger than herself. Others see her behavior as calculated, controlled, and deeply unsettling. We watched the smiles. We listened to the pleas. So now we have to ask, was she a grieving daughter or a master manipulator? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Mill Owl for more real courtroom stories. Thanks for watching. He ascended the witness platform with a poise that trembled between valor and vulnerability, his eyes glistening like glass catching a storm's first shiver. A quiet ferocity clung to him, as though his very breath carried an oath he refused to loosen. Every fiber of his being bristled with a conviction carved from anguish and unwavering spirit. He stood there, unbowed, as if anchored by an unseen tether of loyalty. And still he could not, would not, concede that she was capable of such a deed.
I can't see her doing something like that.
He held his breath until the footage flickered to life, as though the truth itself might fracture under its own weight. The woman he once swore to shield, esteemed, meticulous, trusted in her profession, now stood shadowed by an allegation so grotesque it seemed carved from nightmare rather than fact. At the vortex of this calamity lingered her confidant, the very friend she had embraced like kin. What unfolded thereafter struck the courtroom with a silence so sharp it felt like shattered crystal falling. Even the presiding judge, stripped momentarily of words, delivered the punishment the instant the verdict landed, swift, untempered, and without a heartbeat's pause.
I'm going to sentence you to life with a mandatory minimum 25 years.
This is the saga of Ashley MacArthur, a woman who concealed her friend beneath the soil and then buried the truth beneath layers of deception, lying even to her own husband until the courtroom lights peeled everything open. Taylor Wright, once a sharp-minded police officer and later a relentless private investigator in Pensacola, carved her identity with grit and tenacity. Brilliant, unflinching, and defiantly self-made, Taylor refused to let circumstance dictate her limits. Yet beneath her steel-bound demeanor lived a woman weathering seismic personal upheaval, an unraveling marriage, a bruising custody dispute, and the crushing weight of financial strain. Her world had shrunk, her trust reserved for only a tiny orbit of people. So when she vanished in September 2017, the shock sent tremors through everyone who cared for her. As the search gathered momentum and suspicion thickened, one name rose to the surface again and again. Ashley MacArthur, once Taylor's confidant, once a crime scene technician trained to read the fingerprints of truth. But the closer investigators peered, the more sinister the pattern became. Taylor's disappearance wasn't spontaneous, it was orchestrated. And the most chilling detail? The mastermind was someone schooled in concealing evidence. Ashley wasn't merely a friend, she was the last verifiable person to be with Taylor alive. An unsettling fact made even darker given her forensic forensic background. Instead of lending clarity, she wielded her knowledge like a veil, obscuring the truth temporarily. As investigators chipped deeper, the facade cracked. Stories shifted, explanations twisted, and then came the avalanche. The money, $34,000 Taylor had withdrawn from a shared account to protect during her divorce. Money Ashley had died, promised to safeguard. Money that evaporated the very same moment Taylor did, and when the truth finally ruptured into the open, it stunned the courtroom into near paralysis. September 8th, 2017. Taylor spends the day with Ashley and then disappears. She misses dinner plans, sends her girlfriend a terse message claiming she just needs space, but the tone is wrong, hollow, mechanical. Taylor wasn't the type to ghost anyone, especially not with her custody battle raging like wildfire around her. To vanish without reason wasn't simply out of character, it was perilous. Cassandra, her girlfriend, sensed danger instantly. The message felt alien, stripped of Taylor's voice. As the days bled by without a trace, no calls, no sightings, no digital footprint, worry mutated into dread. Every clue pointed backward toward the last person in Taylor's company, Ashley MacArthur. When Ashley was summoned for interrogation, she walked in composed, almost theatrically at ease, her answers polished as though practiced in front of a mirror. She insisted Taylor merely needed time alone, claimed Taylor often drifted off without notice. But detectives weren't convinced because the clock was ticking and everything about Ashley's narrative smelled contrived. She also stated that Taylor left her house carrying $34,000 in cash, the same funds Taylor had withdrawn to shield from her ex. Yet the money vanished into the same void that swallowed Taylor, and the lies that once seemed smooth began to collapse under their own weight, revealing a truth far more harrowing than anyone expected.
You're the only one that was with her on this day at this farm that you did not disclose to us.
I didn't do anything to
Let me tell
her.
you this, if she's at that farm, we're going to find her because we're executing a search warrant out there right now.
Ashley maintained with a practiced calm that she had no notion of where Taylor drifted after leaving her sight. Yet the silent witnesses she failed to silence, surveillance fragments, digital echoes, and the breadcrumb trail of her own phone began weaving a narrative far more sinister than her polished tale. That evidence carved open a corridor of duplicity, revealing a descent paved with manipulation, betrayal, and ultimately bloodshed. Ashley understood the anatomy of an investigation better than most. She knew where to wipe, what to omit, and which lies might glide past scrutiny. What she never foresaw was how mercilessly the evidence would boomerang back at her. She recounted that the two spent the afternoon ambling through her cousin's land on horseback, painting a picture of an easy, rustic outing. In her version, Taylor appeared aloof, drifting in some private storm of her own making. She insisted Taylor craved solitude, supposedly wandered off to fetch a beer, and then evaporated into silence, ghosting everyone as though swallowed by her own restlessness. But the story, elegant as Ashley tried to make it, was built on sand, and the tide of truth was already rising.
She was just kind of, I mean, she'd talk about, the court case and stuff and joke a little bit. And like I said, she was drinking beer since 9 and so that morning whenever I went and got her. And I mean, she wasn't like depressed or angry or anything like that. I mean, she was, irritated when she would talk about that, but not like just crabby and, And that's why when she tells me, that she wants to get a beer, that I didn't really think much of it at all.
Sure, she's an adult.
At first, it seemed believable, too calm. Almost but beneath the surface, investigators sensed something darker. They scoured Uber and taxi records. Nothing. No rides. Logged, no calls made, and Taylor's phone never left the immediate area. Then came the breakthrough. Cell tower data. Her phone didn't ping near a bar or a convenience store. It registered near a family-owned farm connected to Ashley. That very farm would soon become the epicenter of the investigation. Just minutes after Ashley left the station, search teams combing the MacArthur property made a chilling discovery. Skeletal remains buried in a shallow grave, layered with concrete, potting soil, and cinder blocks concealment so meticulous it suggested someone with knowledge of forensics. But it wasn't just the bones that told the story. Among them lay Taylor's signature bullet necklace, the one she never parted with. In an instant, Taylor Wright's status changed. She was no longer a missing person, she was a homicide victim. As the evidence accumulated, suspicion shifted toward Zach MacArthur, Ashley's husband. Called in for questioning, investigators probed for what did he know? Had he aided in the crime? Or was he simply another pawn in Ashley's calculated scheme?
What do you think happened to Taylor?
I couldn't tell you, Jason. I mean, I don't know. I mean, nobody deserves to ever get anything happen to them like that whatsoever. I don't know, buddy. I don't know what happened to her.
And, I'm asking you, as this investigation continues, whether it's text, phone records, computers, financials, is there going to be anything that hems you up or ties you
absolutely
to that?
Nothing. None. I'm not that guy, man. You know, and you, Jason, goddamn, you know me.
But if you're in my shoes, this has to be done.
I'm right.
It has to be
I'm
done.
right. Y'all, I mean, I'm not that guy. I never have been. I'm never gonna be. I mean, there's applications on my table at home, and I've been going to interviews trying to get back in law enforcement. I'm not that guy. Never gonna be. I never have been. I'm a good person, man. I don't hang out with dirtbags whatsoever. You know?
Well, and not just being involved in the actual murder, but as far as, afterwards.
Helping conceal.
If any person in this world was like, hey, Zach, come help me do something, I would run from that motherfucker as fast as I could. I don't want hell no. No. I don't break the law. I don't.
Zach sat across from the detectives, visibly tense yet unwavering, as they pressed him about Ashley. Could he believe that the woman he married was capable of murder, even against someone she once considered a friend? His answer was immediate and resolute. Ashley was not a killer.
It's terrible. It sucks.
But you've read it, so you know at least some of the details. And
all I know is what I've read.
Let her finish your question.
Okay.
And just based upon that and your knowledge of the job that we do and the job that you used to do, what's your thought?
Feelings aside.
Just logically. We didn't just fucking show up at Britt Road.
I can't see her doing something like that. I mean, she's super intelligent. You know, she's got a
master's degree.
Yeah, or is it master's or I don't know, one of the two. And that's just sloppy. I mean, that's sloppy shit. That's sloppy. I can't see her doing that. It's super sloppy.
Even as the detectives laid out the evidence, the timeline, the lies, the location of the body, Zach could not accept it. He insisted Ashley was being framed, misunderstood, or caught in some tragic coincidence. But the facts were impossible to ignore. Soon, Ashley MacArthur would face the reality that Taylor's loved ones had always anticipated. She would stand trial for murder. In court, Ashley sits at the defense table, calm and composed, as the proceedings unfold. Then, the video plays her own interrogation tape, forcing the room to confront the chilling truth captured on camera.
Your phone and her phone was communicating off the same tower, 8 minutes apart. Why do you have her phone, or why is she with you?
She wasn't with me, and I'm aware that I had her phone.
How did you get her phone?
I don't know that I have her phone. I mean, it could have been in the stuff that she had in the vehicle, but
Here's the problem with that. You say you got a text message from her the evening of the 8th saying, hey, I'm okay, I just got to get away and get my head clear. That's not possible.
So the phone was.
You have her phone.
I don't have her phone.
Well, at that point, at that time, a text came from her phone to your phone, according to you, saying.
Well, I mean, that's what popped up on my phone.
What?
I mean, I had a message pop up on my phone.
How did her phone end up back in your truck?
That I don't know. I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know that it ever left. I just got her stuff and took it to Cass.
Well, supposedly she left with her phone because she sent you a text message. That's what you're saying.
She had 2 phones.
Okay, but the phone that she sent you a text message on is the same phone that tower ping's hitting off of.
It may be, but that I have no idea.
Where is Taylor at?
I have no
You
idea.
need to tell us where she's at.
I don't know where Taylor is.
Tell me what you did to her.
I didn't do anything to her. I didn't do anything to
You
her.
say this, if she's at that farm, we're going to find her because we're executing a search warrant out there right now.
That's fine, but she's not going to be there.
Then where's she at?
I don't know where she
Where's
is.
her body at?
I don't know where she is.
She's dead, though. You
I
know
don't
that?
believe that. I don't
Ashley,
believe that at all.
the thing is we know that you had knowledge that phone was there because a text was sent to your phone from that phone. It was in your possession. It was at the same location. So either Taylor was sitting in your bedroom with you, right, texting you, and you somehow didn't know, and then stayed in your car with you and communicated with other individuals the entire next day, all the way out of the wedding, went to this wedding, was hiding in your car. There's no way humanly possible that you didn't have knowledge of the phone.
I don't know.
The thing is, I think that you're concerned. I think that you're scared.
Then the prosecutors unveiled the bank records. Taylor had trusted Ashley with $34,000 from her divorce settlement money meant to be safeguarded. But Ashley didn't just betray that trust. She deposited the entire sum into her own joint account and spent it extravagantly. Lavish gifts, trips, pampering a secret lover, all while telling everyone Taylor was stressed and likely ran away. Yet the deception ran deeper. Surveillance footage revealed Ashley purchasing concrete and potting soil the very day after Taylor disappeared. That same mix was later found covering Taylor's remains at her family's farm, the same place Ashley's phone had secretly pinged. One by one, her excuses crumbled. Now, in the courtroom, facing the jury and her husband, her lies unraveled on screen. Zach MacArthur, who once stared down detectives insisting his wife was no killer, now watched in stunned silence as her betrayals played out before him and the jury alike. In that moment, his denial shattered. The final blow came with witness testimony. Ashley had openly discussed drugging Taylor's beer to stage an overdose, but Taylor had resisted. That was when prosecutors say Ashley acted, executing a plan that was chillingly calculated, cold, and premeditated. And then, the moment everyone had been waiting for, the verdict.
State of Florida versus Ashley Britt MacArthur, case number 1717CF005844A. Verdict as to the charge in count 1, we the jury find the defendant Ashley MacArthur guilty of first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm as charged in the indictment.
The judge didn't hesitate. Ashley was immediately sentenced to life in prison, with no possibility of parole for 25 years. When combined with her prior convictions for fraud and racketeering, her total time behind bars stretches well beyond 3 decades, ensuring she would spend the majority of her life locked away.
All right, then, Ashley MacArthur, having been found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of your peers of first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm, I am going to adjudicate you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to life with a mandatory minimum 25 years state prison for the firearm. That will be with credit for
327 days.
327 days. That will run concurrent with any other sentence that you are serving.
Ashley now sits behind bars at Lell Correctional Institution. Taylor Wright's family, her young son, and all who knew her are still left to heal from the unimaginable loss. No matter how much we love someone, no matter how tightly we cling to hope, sometimes the truth is louder than loyalty. Did Ashley's husband truly have no idea, or was he silently turning a blind eye all along? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Owl for more real-life courtroom stories.